brands that would do shorter shafted drivers would lose the simulator war.
It's hard in golf because innovation has kind of hit a wall, hasn't it, really? Due to the rules of the R&A and the USGA, the governing bodies. You know, TaylorMade can't go out tomorrow and make a driver that is absolutely revolutionary because they're just not allowed to in the rules of golf, are they?
Yeah.
So it's hard to make stuff every year or even every few years that is that much different. But that then led me on to a question, and I've asked this again on the Facebook group. Are people excited for the 2022 golf driver releases? Because it's only around the corner. I know we're not quite in the end of 2021 yet, but it won't be long before you might see the odd leak.
Yeah.
You know that TaylorMade, Cobra will have new drivers out next year.
Callaway
have got a new driver coming out next year. There'll be a few other bits and bats.
I don't think Titleist... Oh, no, Titleist will be back end of next year.
Back end of the year. Ping, I don't think will be until maybe the back end of the year. But anyway, some of the big brands, like I said, the flagship brands are going to have new drivers. So I said, what do people want to see?
Yeah. And
what do people actually think we'll see? Because that's two very different things. Yeah. The first answer from a guy, Adam Monk, has said for them not to be £500.
Well, yeah, I could imagine. I could have guessed that answer.
But do you not think, though, as well, a lot of people do that, they're preempting because that's the brands they want to want. Like, we've not said there from the other brands, Tour Edge might bring out a new driver, Ben Ross might bring out a new driver, all these other brands. But we kind of, as consumers, a lot of people want the big name but don't want to pay the price for it.
Of course. I mean, the only company there that kind of stands out, the ones that have changed that model a little bit, is Cobra. Mm-hmm. Like, for the last few years, they've sat their price point much at like £350 rather than $500.
Yeah.
And again, I think a lot of people, I don't know what it kind of, I mean, you can't buy products at the moment, can you?
Well, Matthew White has said, I'll be more interested when they come out to hopefully be able to get the decent deals on previous year's gear. And that's something a lot of people say as well. If they still can get hold of them, it's quite hard to get hold of product at the minute.
It's really hard. Like, how much is so if you're looking for like a Sim 2 driver now, for example, like £400 you're picking up for. But that's if you can get hold of them. So probably when the brand new TaylorMade comes out, that might just drop a little bit. Or sometimes they just vanish. Like, you can sometimes just can't buy these second-hand ones or these older versions because they've either got the stock levels spot on or whatever. People snatch them up.
A lot of people are going on the route of this overpriced. Stephen Moss said, I'm treating myself to a new driver for the next season, so I'm excited to see what the releases are. Nobody's really coming up with an actual answer that I was kind of hoping for, of like what they want to see in terms of technology. I don't think people know. Ultimately, it's not our job, is it? People, the average guy in the street or whatever, it's not their job to think of what a brand can do next. Steve Hetherington has said realistic lead times when ordering would be nice. So again, he's obviously been
the more practical things, aren't they? Like price and lead time. It's not technology. Nobody's really giving a technology answer there.
Well, what do you think then? What would you want? We've touched on
this.
We've touched on this, but it's so hard, isn't it? This is quite good on Twitter, actually. I did it on Twitter as well. Mark Cobb has said, more drivers with a shorter shaft as standard. This would 100% help most amateur golfers. I wouldn't disagree with that.
Yeah, I think the fear with that is brands that would do shorter shafted drivers would lose the simulator war.
I always think this potentially, but would they if you start to find the middle more?
I'd like to think brands have probably thought this and tested it enough. I don't know. I feel like we live in an era.
Because if that was the case, why does every Tour Pro not use 48-inch?
Yeah, don't know.
But
again, I'm talking simulator. I'm talking you're in a bay, you're getting fitted, and it ultimately comes down into distance.
I know, but I don't think many golfers hit longer shafts actually better. They might get more clubhead speed, but they don't hit the middle as much.
Yeah,
but
like the one again, we've talked about fitting loads.
That 1 out of 10 that does go longer,
like,
possibly.
Is that enough of a dangly carrot? And I'm not talking 48 inches, but like longer versus shorter. Is that the dangly carrot that the fitter obviously naturally is going to jump on because he's going to say, yeah, but you hit this one. Look at the potential. Once you get used to this driver, you're going to be hitting that distances all the time.
So it'll be funny.
If I've only done it 1 out of 10 times.
Well, imagine, right, this would never happen. Stupid thing to say. Imagine if there's a law brought in, right? A new golf law, okay? Illegal to not do this. When getting fitted for a new driver, it has to be on the golf course in real play. Yeah. And it has to be against your own one. So you go and set the first tee, and you go, right, I've got John with me. He's got a TaylorMade RBZ from a few years ago. He wants to try the new Sim 2. So he has to play the hole with both drivers. He has to play 18 holes with both drivers.
Yeah.
And you actually see it in real time, the difference. It would never happen, but you'd actually see in real life there's probably not much difference at all.
So, yeah, I think, like I said, I don't disagree with that comment. I just think brands, certainly when they're in a buying scenario, when they're getting a fit in, or they're in a simulator, or they're at a driving range, it will ultimately come down to the longer shaft. If you catch one well, it's probably going to outperform it, not on consistency level, but on the 1 or 2 times that, unfortunately, us as human beings will be like, oh, I can do that every time. Let me just get used to this driver and I'll do it every time.
Do you think, though, as well, like, it is going to get... Because a lot of people now are saying overpriced and stuff, and I kind of wonder, are they just saying that, but actually they will end up going buying it, or they have quite new gear themselves anyway? But weirdly, I was texting a friend the other day about something, and he said he was debating getting a new iPhone, and then he said, I'm not bothered now, I'm still sticking with the iPhone 8, because I could have got the new 13 Pro. It would have cost me however much a month. I'm only paying for the kind of the contract third time. It's SIM only at the moment. So it would have cost me £50 a month more to get the new phone, and yeah, the camera's a bit better, but I'm not that bothered. And more people now are doing that. Like I said earlier on, I'm a big Apple fan. I would normally every year have the latest iPhone. I've currently got the 11 Pro, so there's been a 12 Pro, now there's a 13 Pro, and I'm not that bothered about swapping it. I don't think I will, because of the price versus improvement.
Yeah.
And you do see that more and more now with iPhones. So many people are just using SIM only and have a phone that might be an iPhone 7 or 8 or whatever.
Unless you're an idiot like me.
Well, yeah.
And I've ordered mine, and mine comes tomorrow.
But you know what I mean? But let more people spend with an older phone now.
Yeah.
And
well, people will spend it.
People still will, but there's also a lot more people now aren't having the latest iPhone.
Yeah.
So is that going to get to the point in golf where actually now, like, people are saying it, but people are going to start going, genuinely, we're watching these videos online, we all understand launch monitors to some degree now, we're watching these reviews of yourself and TXG, there is no real difference. I'm not going to bother.
I almost feel like we're already at that stage.
Well, yeah.
In fact, I think 100% we are. Like, how many times do we go down to the Marriott or go out filming somewhere? Do we literally see a bag with the latest gear in? It is rare.
It is.
It's not as. There's certainly more older gear.
Yeah. 100%.
Than newer gear. So I think we're almost at that point already. But I'm just looking online here and I can't find the answer. But price has been discussed loads, and obviously in that thread it's been discussed loads. But rewind time, like even back end of like 1990s, when the Callaway ERC driver came out, do you remember it?
Yeah, you had one.
That was £500.
Yeah, I had it. I didn't get it new. I got it second hand for £100.
So like,
but there was a jump in innovation.
Yeah,
they were very. There was coming to 460cc. That was actually illegal. The first version.
It wasn't illegal at the time, but
it soon became illegal. The ERC2, I don't think it was. Don't quote me on that. But there was at least jumps.
Yeah. And that's it. They've almost kept at that price point. I think it
went down.
Go down a little bit.
The Ping G2 launched at 199, and that really changed the game at the time. And it was only really, again, when I was at Nike, they had 3 drivers, 200 quid was it? No, 249, 299, and then like a really expensive 379 version that was a concept one that nobody actually used. And it's only in the last 5 years they've really kind of, again, PXG introduced this expensive price point. I think people would pay, potentially, people would pay anyway, but people would be more open to paying if there was something tangible that was different.
Of course.
Like, again, with your iPhone, if that could open up like an iPad and then, like the Samsung ones do, and then shrink down again, you'd be like, I'm going to get the new one. Or I would anyway. But they're not doing anything different.
No, they're not. Time will tell.
I want them to do something different, though. That's what I want, the new drivers to come out, and I want to be dead excited
about
them.
I say, you had a chat. I've not had a chat with said person, but you had a chat with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And they seem to... and like I say, you can only take what brands say with a pinch of salt, a big pinch of salt sometimes. But certainly the source you talked about from a major manufacturer seemed outrageously excited about the launch in January.
Yes.
More than normal,
which got me thinking, what is it?
Yet there was another spokesman from another company who really wasn't that excited about the new product.
That's very true.
So, who knows? Time will tell. But to get your most in-depth, detailed, fun, entertaining, all-rounded, unbiased, best close-ups, best personality reviews, make sure you subscribe to TXG.
Hey! I was going to do it first, but I thought I can't. Nicely done. I was going to say Matt Fryer. Do you want to hear Rick?